Hi and welcome to Body in the City Goes Digital. My name is Jasmine.
My name is Courtnei.
Welcome. Welcome.
So, Jazz.
Hi.
What are we doing here? Why are we here together?
Body in the City is going digital, guys.
Going digital.
Yeah,
Finally.
it's finally going digital.
What does that mean? Body in
It's taken us a really long time to get here, mind you. We've done about 65 takes. However,
but we're here.
We're here. We're really happy to be here. We're happy that you're here, that you're joining us.
Indeed.
And we've got a lot in store.
Viewers, welcome.
Yes, welcome. We've got a lot to share. We've got many interviews lined up, many discussions. There's just so much happening. In a nutshell, for those of you who don't know me, who've not met us before, we're in the space of wellness. Okay. I'm a body work therapist, and I founded Body in the City as a means to kind of help people in my community just discover their own self-care, feel good at all times. And my modality is yoga, stretch therapy, somatic stretch therapy, and Thai massage, and all types of different body works. Okay. My hands are good. So with that in mind, we felt there was a need to bring about a channel and a platform whereby we could invite other guests who have similar modalities in the industry of wellness and could showcase those things for us, showcase what they do, and help people understand what wellness trends, self-care habits, things that make you feel good, what is available for people to be doing.
Yeah. Okay. And I think from another angle as well, which we'll be doing the interviews, is those who are experiencing that. So your side is the teachers and those who are actually giving the services. Is also interested from the side of what are people doing as well, what do people want or need. So as you know, the people you've been interacting with, your clients, and just such different range of people, the successful people. The beginners, myself, I'm not new, but newish.
Okay.
Allowing myself, or I'm in a place now in my, scared to say the word, adulthood, where I'm focusing on my self-care.
Right.
So I think it's really good where allowing the space, the honest space, just the tips and tricks, the conversations.
This is what you'll find here. Tips, tricks, and conversations. We're here not to gatekeep. We're here to really open up for questions, observations, and feedback. So we really do appreciate feedback. We really, really love questions. If there's a topic that you want us to touch on, I will find that person, you know.
In our network somehow.
We've got really good networks between us. So yeah, we'll just dive straight in. And yeah, just maybe a little bit more about you. Now,
I am jack of all trades, master of.
We need to really iron that one.
I know.
She thinks she's a jack of all trades and master of none, but
let's change it. I'm a jack of all trades, master of marketing, events, wellness advocate, life coach.
Much better. She is. She's fantastic. And yeah, for those who don't know, we are cousins.
If you can't,
we're family.
Yes. Blood as well.
Blood, not just that.
Family friend.
Yeah, blood. So we love that. And we are drinking today. Also, you'll see us in these episodes drinking tea. A, because I'm a granny and I like tea. And secondly, you're also a granny.
And I like tea.
And she likes tea.
I may not always finish my teas. Sorry, my sisters.
Pet peeve.
But I will still drink it. So what are we drinking today?
Today we're drinking a really nice blend from M&S actually. It's a pineapple, mango and lime fusion. Very, very nice. I highly recommend. So for those ACMR lovers, you will definitely need to tap this way too many times and sipping, honestly. But yes, we will dive straight in. So what is our topic of the day?
So I think it'll be good for us to touch on self-care. I think overall, all these episodes is about ourselves and opening that door. So we good to start. First convo again. We can just see where it goes. First episode, we'll see where we end up in our combos.
I'm happy with that. Nice.
But yeah, so to me, I struggle to define self-care. So it'd be good to hear like as you're thick in that world. How would you define self-care?
Okay.
No pressure.
No pressure. I can start off by saying that self-care and the definition of self-care is different for everybody.
Yeah. For sure.
One person's self-care might not be another person's self-care.
Key. One person's self-care.
And that's just like a statement, a disclaimer throughout everything we do here. One person's bread isn't the same person's other, someone's other.
Yeah.
So when it comes to self-care, in a nutshell, I believe, say that it's the actionable step. It's something that you do and something that you really focus on in order to achieve and maintain wellness, equilibrium, and just peace generally in yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like having self-care or self-care habits, rituals, techniques, activities, whatever. It's a means to be well. It's a means to feel good. And it can be anything from like mental self-care, physical self-care, spiritual self-care. There's all these different types of modalities of self-care that you can all roll into one or have them like performed separately.
Agreed.
It's just a means to like improve your life and your improved self in a non-egotistical way as well. It can be anything from setting very healthy boundaries is a form of self-care.
Oh, that's a whole conversation.
That's a whole conversation. But
yeah.
like that could be seen as a self-care.
Yeah, agreed.
Or, you know, getting a good night's sleep, nutrition, healthy relationships, exercise. All these things are key, you know, having a good skincare routine, having a good hair care routine, having good company that you keep. These are all acts of self-care.
Agreed.
And I think it's really important for us, for everybody, especially this generation, our generation, our parents' generation, the generations to come, my son's generation, for them to, thank you, for them to very much know that to have self-care and to prioritize self-care and to invest in self-care is a good thing.
Yeah, agreed. It's a positive.
It's definitely a positive.
It's a positive. And
Absolutely.
I think it's also the idea of it should be the standard. You should have, that should be a thought. You should be mindful of it. It's not if you have time for it, then you can do it. Or, which I think we'll touch on. And I guess the purpose of this, because you just have the means. You don't need to be earning X amount of money to be able to give yourself something.
And that is the misconception. People think self-care and they're like, but I just can't afford to do it. Like I can't afford to go to the Reform Pilates once a week or the fancy gym memberships or the spa retreats. Like, but that's not what self-care is. Like I do remember growing up though, and my first thought when I thought of self-care was like, you know, this woman in a robe in a spa. And that was it. And a tea, that for me. And I was like, well, who does this all the time? Yeah. And it wasn't until later on when I did more study and I really got into the world of wellness that I realised, well, hold on, like just going for a nice walk is an act of self-care. Taking yourself to the cinema to get some food is an act of self-care. Or doing a hobby that you've been putting off for years that you really like doing, you know, that is a form of self-care because it makes you feel good and it just lowers the cortisol. It brings about like just more healthy ways of thinking and ways of living.
No, definitely. Like when I went through, still going through, I read, you know, all my self-improvement books. Yeah. I went through how many self-improvement books, and most of them, if not the tone underlining all of the books is self-care.
Yeah.
As in you need to be so selfish, but in a positive way to actually make yourself better. So it's the idea of actually stopping and focusing on you. And it's that battle where you go through sometimes, I don't want to wake up. That mindset of you waking up and pushing yourself to go gym is going to be reflected in everything else you do.
Yeah.
And it's
have an effect on your whole day.
Exactly that. And it's like just switching your mind off from 100 thoughts and actually just focusing on something for yourself changes your life.
Changes the game.
And that's probably said in over 20, 50, how many books? So it's very, very interesting, and it's interesting like how it's so popular now. Like why do you think it's so popular now?
It's definitely
buzzwordy.
Yes, it's a lot more of a buzzword. It's got way more emphasis on it, but definitely like I would say in the 20th century. And I think there's a heightened awareness about self-care generally across our society because things like mental health have more awareness now. There's less stigma attached to things like being well and feeling well and admitting when you're not in a good place. You know, even work environments, they're very much aware now, and HR focus a lot more on employer satisfaction and kind of and preventing burnout. And these are all ways in which that society and globally we're saying, okay, do you know what, if you want us to be our best self, you've got to kind of invest in me as well. And I too have to invest in myself if I want to have a good be a good version of myself. You know, it's very fitting when, you know, you have a car. For those of you who have cars, like, you know, you're insuring your car, You're servicing your car, you're MOTing your car, you're fueling your car, you're washing your car, you're paying them parking fines. Courtney. You're doing all those things for your car, right? Because you need to maintain it. You need to maintain its value. You need to maintain it, look after it, care for it, so that it keeps you safe and it lasts long. Why don't we have that same mentality for ourselves and for our own body? You know, maybe I should put a little aside for myself so that I can do something every month, or invest in that membership so I can feel good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just changing the mindset.
Yeah, literally. Invest in yourself.
It's investment.
And it'll come back in so many ways as well.
Absolutely.
So, like, again, being on this journey, it's made such a difference just focusing on yourself for a bit.
Yeah.
I think we live in such a fast-paced, immediate gratification world, society.
Definitely.
That we think going to the gym once, we're not seeing the results, we'll give up.
And then quit. Yeah.
So
and things like gym, like people, and it's not just gym, but there's different self-care techniques and different things that people can do, and that it's not for everyone. You know, and that's okay. Yeah. You might not like going to the gym because you might feel, oh, I'm not quite ready to go to the gym yet. I don't really like the environment. It's too busy. It's very intimidating. But it's like, that might be for your friends, but it might not be for you. You might be better at a bar class, or a Pilates class, or a yoga class, or a boxing class, like anything else. It's just about having the confidence to acknowledge that you need something. And to search for what you need and what actually genuinely makes you happy as well.
I think we must have had a conversation. How many conversations? Why we're here? One of our many, many conversations where you told me, which was really, again, changed my life. Thanks, Jess. Is just try it. Even if I don't like it and I fail, it's the fact of me going to a class that I would never ever think of doing, or maybe I once thought of and then I brushed it off because it's like, oh, I'm never going to do that. That changes your perspective. Is just putting yourself in a situation that is uncomfortable is a form of self-care. What I personally think.
It's also a nice indication of growth. You know, there's the saying that, you know, you're not going to feel that uncomfortability is growth to an extent.
1,000,000%.
You know, and you can find the growth in it, and that's a good thing. And sometimes it just takes you breaking out your comfort zone and doing something that's completely unfamiliar. But what we don't always recognize is that a lot of people come from societies, come from families where it's just not the norm. And many people are afraid to break out of the norm for fear of being laughed at. Do you know what I'm saying?
Alienated,
And just alienated and just looked at sideways. So rather than say, do you know what, like, I might go to that salsa class, I might go to that pottery class, or they might want to in the back of their head, but they're afraid of what someone might say. So they never get to explore these things, or they might want to try a certain food, go to a certain place, and it applies in everything.
Literally. Anything.
And I think when you have self-care and you're very aware of your own self-care, it just makes you way more aware of what it is that you need to do to feel happy. That is the quest at the end of the day. We're not here for very long.
I think you hit the nail on the head where it was what you've just said. I think self-care is having that self-awareness. And I think self-awareness is a journey. I don't believe when people say I'm self-aware. No, you're not. You can't be self-aware. I could be wrong. Again, viewers, listeners, let me know. I'm open. Be nice though. Is that self-awareness is a journey as self-care is a journey. So it's the same. You're never going to get to a place where you're like, self-care, tick. No. You have to continuously, it's going to be up and down, and the same thing for self-awareness. But on your self-care journey, you will gain that self-awareness. And I think that's what will allow you to get to a point of better well-being overall.
Absolutely.
So it's very all a journey, and it's just putting yourself.
And there's no end. There's no like means to an end.
Should
it's not like it really is just a journey. There's no like end destination, or once I've reached this level of X, then I'm going to be finished and complete. It doesn't always work that way. No. It's just a commitment that you have for yourself at the end of the day. And I think a good example of that is something like, I don't know, like hair care or skincare. That in itself has grown so much in popularity now because we have things like social media.
As well, but
it is consumerism for sure. But things like social media, which has its highs and lows, but you know, it's making these routines way more accessible. You know, making knowledge and reviews and products, and you know, there's products now for different types of skin and different ethnicities. And you know, when I was young, it was just straight up trial and error. Buy it, use it. It either worked or it didn't work.
The option wasn't even there. It was like what was ever in the bathroom. That was it.
That was kind of it. You know, so take everything, or look around you and take the resources where they're available.
Agreed.
I think as well, people sometimes confuse self-care with wellness.
Yes.
Not to say that they're not very similar, but again, I think wellness kind of encompasses a holistic viewpoint for your life as a whole. So you're approaching more or less every avenue in your life with wellness, and it's a more holistic approach. So it could down to like sleeping, down to nutrition, down to, again, like I said, relationship, all these things are types of wellness, but it's a lot more mental, physical, it's environmental, societal, it's all of these things combined. Whereas, like I said earlier, self-care is about, breaking off one of those branches and then diving into that particular thing.
Which you hope to do.
Yeah. What wellness or self-care did you see growing up as a child?
I can't even tell you. I actually can't tell you. But I think now that I'm a little bit older, I can't consider myself an adult just yet.
She's an adult, by the way. She's not a minor.
I think it's the community. I think that's what that self-care is, as in just talking. And we're very fortunate enough we had each other, as in you, cousins, family, you know how big our family is. And just the communicating, I think now I appreciate it so much. Just reaching out and having a conversation was my form of self-care.
Absolutely.
And I think how my family is, especially my mother, she's a talker. Love you, Mum. That was her form of self-care. She just wanted to come and have a chat. And it's which goes into like where therapy is so much helpful.
Absolutely.
Just being outside, is just having conversations. Those moments, I think, with my form of self-care. I didn't have any routines at all.
No. So do you feel as though, and this goes back to the original question, it's just like, do you feel that because you didn't necessarily see the self-care that we're speaking about today practice like a lot in the home growing up, that it's now up to you to kind of
most definitely
not necessarily break
it is
anything.
I don't want to say break, but it's to build new ones, build better ones, build ones where my kids eventually, kids will know. And it's even not even just my kid, like my sister, my younger sister. I'm hopefully, let me know, Smells, hopefully showing my little sister that there's better ways
of doing things.
And
absolutely.
It's also helping my parents whilst my sister's a bit younger, helping them understand her perspective and how they can help enable her to have that self-care. So it is, I do push my little sister a lot where I wasn't so aware of like self-care.
I think that is the beauty with the industry.
Agreed.
And that's the beauty with taking a step into doing what feels good for you, because you never know who you're influencing. And that's such a good thing. You never know who just needed a little bit of encouragement, even though it might be silent, to then look after themselves. Like my mum's a prime example of that as well. Like I'm very much I wouldn't say trendsetter, but I'll do something and I'm like, Mum, you should try this as well. And she's very receptive to it. And, even just down to the other day, she saw me like gua sharing, like, violently gua sharing.
on your face,
literally, she saw me like gua sharing. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm like gua sharing. And if they don't know, like gua sharing is like, it's like skin scraping. It's like, a means to, increase blood flow and lymphatic drainage, all this good stuff. I will do a whole conversation about that eventually one day. And I was doing it in the mirror after getting a shower, and she saw like all these products on the bed, and I kept saying to her, this is my skincare routine for the night. And for me, that's my self-care. It's like ritualistic. Like this is my 10-part system, full body self-care maintenance. And I was showing her everything I was using, all the steps I was taking. And it was less about, I couldn't care less about the products, it's nothing about the products. It's just what the products meant for me and how it made me feel. It was a moment for myself.
Yeah, agreed.
And she watched me do it and she was saying, oh, this looks good. And I kid you not, as I was doing, she's like, I'm going to go and get my oil now and you can do me afterwards. And I'm like, okay, go on then. And then once I'd finished doing her gua, she's like, right, we're going to go to the shop and I need to buy a gua sha.
Let me go right now.
Let me go right this second and go and get one. I'm like, okay, let's go shop and go get you one. And it's nice to watch that generation pick up on things that we now do.
Yes, agreed.
Because it's like a means of giving back. And it's nice to kind of share those things with family members, because especially our generation, like we're millennials, and it's like a lot of our parents, not all parents, but growing up and being parents, they're always in a state of survival mode. Just having that like sit down, reflective, not doing anything, not having to worry about anything, you know, it's one of the, it's a luxury.
Yeah.
It's a luxury in itself. Yeah. So if we as the children, as the parents, can demonstrate these small changes to your life, which can create better health and wellness overall, we should be offering that. We should be advocating for that.
Making it the normal conversation,
making it normal.
Yeah, literally.
Making it completely normal
in your routines, making it in your day-to-day routines.
Yeah, even if it's small things. Yeah, going for a walk every day.
Leaving the house at least once a day.
Yeah, going for a walk, or like me, like I'm a massive plant enthusiast. Going to the plant store is therapeutic to me. Yeah. If you agree, please let me know. But honestly, like going to the plant store, I have no more space for plants in my house, but going to the plant store, picking a good plant that's just speaking to you, bringing it home, potting it, placing it somewhere, it feels good.
Yeah, it does.
It feels good. And yeah, I just think that everyone should try to just have a little think about today. Like, what's your mode? What's your vice? Like, what makes you feel good?
Yeah, it's true. I've tried so many. And I think what I've learned is we've touched on it. Not everything's for everything. For everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
I've tried whatever's trending. I've tried the colouring. I've tried the gym. I've tried so many different things that's been more in my face. But then I think what's helped me is more just the overall awareness.
Yep.
And it's small things that in the back of my head, reading. I've always known I used to read a lot
more.
And that
you stopped reading so much?
I stopped. And since this year, end of last year, I've read probably the more books than I have in the past 5 years, in the past like 6 months.
Yeah, we started a book club recently.
Exactly. We started like I've got one with like work. I've got one with you guys. Yeah. Like it's change, and it's just and my point is it's the small things.
Yeah,
I think make such a difference, and I don't think you need to pay this £200 a month membership. Or
by all means, if you'd want to, then do that.
Then do it. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But it's just you don't need to. You don't need to do it. There's so many other options. Fantastic. There's so many other ways in which you can feel good, and so many there's so much to do, especially in London. I feel like there's all these little niche businesses popping up because they realise that there's actually a market for this. You know, I go to things like terrarium workshops and
there's a colouring book
workshops and you know BIPOC yoga classes, very intentional things. And I'm just like, great, like these are my tribe, these are my people. They get it.
No, for real. Oh no, it's going to be exciting. Just talking about the channel, I'm really, really excited though, Jazz, because I think watching you grow, your space grow, turn into a mother, like I think you're even on another journey as well.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm excited.
Journey is happening.
I'm excited we could go exploring, trying all these new things. If there's anything you guys want to explore and you're a bit nervous, we're happy to explore.
Yeah.
So pop down below.
We've got a lot. We've got a lot coming up. We've got many guests that are on the roster. There's so much that I'd want to share, that Courts wants to share, because we really are passionate about this. And it's like, I've seen and had the grace of meeting some amazing people that are so inspiring, just incredible, that really do invest in their self-care. And I really get like an inside view. I'm like, wow, like you spend a lot of money on these things, but look how it's affected, look how it's impacted your life and your children's lives, you know? So this is a really safe space for that. We're really open to hearing what it is that you do for wellness, what it is that you do for self-care, how it is that you look after yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, what's your vice, what's your thing, and bring it to us. We'll do our best to go through, read, respond to all comments and messages, and you know, bringing on people that we think would be really beneficial to interview.
Yeah, even let us know. Is there anyone you want us to interview?
Is there anyone you want us to interview?
I'm excited.
Me too.
Well, great. Are we wrapping up? First episode.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you for joining us. Please do like and subscribe.
Till the next one.
And until the next one, be well.